asking, am I really good enough? This can hold even the most talented individuals back. So our panel discussion topic is from imposter syndrome to confidence, how women can lead authentically. Leading the panel discussion is Ms. Ayotif Yaya, and I will hand it over to her to introduce her panelists. Please put your hands together for Ms. Ayotif.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Is everyone awake?
Yeah.
I have been walking around this entire conference for the past 3 days telling people about this panel. So I hope everyone's going to come. I know it's a difficult time right now. Our bellies are full after that lunch, which makes this time slot very challenging for any conference. But we're going to make it as interactive as possible. We're going to run this panel. We're going to run this panel a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce these beautiful women to you. I'm sure most of you have met them already. And then we're going to go through our very limited questions. We've got only 3 questions. 3 questions, no, 4 questions. But we want to make this interactive. So we're going to go through one question and then give it to you to ask us any questions, and if there are questions, we're gonna, address those, and if there are no questions, we're gonna move to the next one. So that way, we're all having a discussion here together rather than keeping it to the end. All right, with that said, and thank you for the introduction, and the title of this conference is dedicated to women, but like we said before, imposter syndrome, everyone has that. So it's not only a challenge that women face, men face it too, and sometimes very successful executives come across this problem too. So we're going to try and pivot, make sure that we address this issue as an issue for everyone so that everyone can walk away with something beneficial today. All right, so with that, I am going to do a little introduction here. I'm going to introduce my fellow panelists. I'm going to start with Tanya. Tanya is a qualified social worker from the UK. She has been working there for 3 decades, and she started her coaching consulting business in 2018 after the worst experience burnout ever. She now helps high achievers and high performers offering rapid transformations via reflective spaces. Online, I love this about her, online she's known as the Muslim alchemist. Ask about that later. She combines Islamic psychology and Jungian psychology, but despite this reputation, she doesn't work exclusively for Muslims only, but helps everyone reflect and heal. Tanya, thank you, and welcome to the conference. Next is Geeta. Geeta is known for bringing order to complex environments through scalable and trusted transformations. Her strength lies in cutting through ambiguity, identifying the real problem, aligning cross-functional teams, and delivering solutions that are both user-centric and future-ready. She has strong foundation in fintech, real estate, and AI-enabled workflows. She has a calm ability to consistently turn vision into outcome-driven product strategy. Thank you. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Cynthia. Cynthia was born from a journey of self-discovery, courage, and purpose. Cynthia is a Canadian-Lebanese entrepreneur. She's worked across industries from environmental initiatives and technology to women's empowerment. She's driven by her passion for inspiring others and building meaningful, empowering spaces of confidence and connection. She's the founder of a personal branding and marketing agency based here in Dubai, and is a co-founder of a real estate agency helping people navigate relocation, investments, and exciting opportunities. Welcome, Cynthia. Thank you. All right, next one. Rinkel. Rinkel, co-founder of Umpler, is a teen entrepreneur turned people development catalyst known for her journey of constant reinvention. After over 17 years of corporate experience in sales and program management, she blends image consulting, power skills, and Japanese growth philosophies to help leaders and teams communicate with impact and show up confidently. Rinko is a strong champion of women. She's on a mission to empower 10,000 individuals through personal branding. She brings up sharp insights and real-world experience and a passion for unlocking the best in people.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hyukan Dunn is the founder of a CEO of FinEye Thailand, where she leads Thailand's first personalized and entrepreneurial micro-school ecosystem. She brings over 18 years experience in education, specializing in personalized learning, youth entrepreneurship, and future-ready skills. Dunn is also a PhD candidate at the university?
At Chulalongkorn University, Thailand.
Thank you, Gunn. I didn't want to butcher that, so I asked them to help me with that. She's researching innovation in lifelong learning. Her work focuses on helping young people discover who they are and who they can become by building clarity, confidence, and purpose. Welcome, Gunn. And finally, little me. My name is Awatif Yahya. I'm the founder of Our Horizons LLC, a leadership skill development firm. We offer interactive leadership workshops to shift the mindset from what I call a very poor style of dictatorship into very productive leadership conduct. I'm a strong believer of diversity, and without diversity, companies will really struggle in gaining competitive advantage, and have been supporting women since birth. So this panel is very, very dear to my heart. All right, so with that, we start with the first question. I'm going to direct this one to Tanya. Tanya, can you share a time when you doubted something about yourself or something you're about to do, and how did you overcome that doubt?
So, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to start with something that maybe has sort of like spiked your curiosity. Why do I call myself online Muslim alchemist? Alchemy is something we all alchemists. We can turn the crap, the shit, into gold. And when you know how, it becomes easier. When you know how to do it for yourself, you can definitely do it for others. And actually, it's not doing it for others. It's just basically reminding that we're all born to flow. And that kind of leads me to how did I come from imposter syndrome to being very confident. I think imposter syndrome exists within all of us because we're all human. And that is the collective, what we call the collective unconscious, or consciousness, where we're kind of constantly being bombarded with I'm not good enough. This is in very many stories, with our own upbringing, or stories that we're listening to, or and so sometimes I find, and I'm a real advocate for digital detoxification, digital minimalism, which is very contradictory because a lot of my business is done online, some of it's done offline. And recently I basically decided to do an in-person workshop called Born to Flow. And I started marketing it, I can't remember, several months back. Didn't leave it at the time, and so basically my marketing was just organic on LinkedIn, Facebook, email marketing, Instagram. And also I did some in-person marketing with in-person leaflets, going to places like the Ritz, Chanel. I still can't, there's a part of me that can't believe it feels very surreal. Going to very high-class places within central London. And there was a part of me that was like, Tanya, who in the hell are you? You're like this social worker, you've been a social worker for ages. Like, who in the hell are you to do this? But I've actually been running these like one-to-one sessions and workshops online. But yet this was my first in-person workshop in central London, which I was going to be facilitating by myself. No collaborator, no friends, just me. So there was a lot of, am I really this one to do this? Can I really do this? Well, I mean, am I like promising too much? Am I going to like under-deliver? I've said that I can do this is what it's going to be like. And as I was marketing it, there were these doubts that were like sprouting. And I couldn't let those doubts spread like mushroom, and like there was a part of me, as the event approached, I kind of hadn't like really got a structure. I kind of roughly knew what I was doing. And then my two assistants basically said it would really help if you got a structure and you kind of shared this in your marketing. And so I reluctantly did a structure because I like to flow. I think some people on the panel know this. And then when I got the structure, it kind of was a very rough structure. I then decided a couple of days before the panel to actually sort of say, not completely, but roughly what I was going to actually say, do some sort of techniques, grounding techniques, slowing down techniques, all the stuff that I work when I kind of work privately with clients, just to like to share some of my strategies. And some of it was going to be like, let's just take this and see how much time it is, and I didn't want to over like saturate the day. And as the day approached, yes, there were those nerves, and I felt like sometimes you need to be a little bit nervous, because you need to, otherwise you just go into arrogance, and I don't really like. There needs to be that middle ground, not too humble, not too arrogant. And I went in and I got some very high quality chocolate, because it was a workshop for high achieving women. High achieving women love chocolate, they love coffee. And then the day came, and I ended up having three sign-ups, and I ended up gifting the places. And for me, it wasn't a failure. For me, it was like, I'm going to go through with this, and it's also taught me I need to market something a lot longer. But the actual 3 people that came, so it was the 4 of us in the room, the harmony that came, the synchronicity that came, the insights that they got, the testimonials that they gave, and it then gave me ideas on how to make this and make it run for corporate. There's been lots of different ideas. And what changed from imposter syndrome to confidence was just taking the action, taking the really scary action. And although I wasn't really scared because I've done this, though I was grounded by my experience of doing what I was doing online, it's 2018, and just putting it into an in-person workshop, the key is to just carry on doing. Despite what other people will be saying, what you hear online, what your friends say, what your family say, because sometimes your friends and your family aren't your cheerleaders. You'll find your cheerleaders are other people that you really, I had lots of people that said they wanted to come, they couldn't come for various reasons. And now I'm planning to deliver it online. So that is how I came from imposter syndrome to confidence.
Thank you, Tanya. So basically, it comes within, you just do it. Any other panelists would like to add to that? Okay, the question was, can you share a time when you doubted something, and how did you overcome that doubt?
Yes. Hello everyone, good afternoon. So there's 2 things. The first one, when I first doubted myself was exactly 5 years ago. I wouldn't even be on this stage. I didn't even imagine that it was possible at that time for me to speak up and to actually, what I was saying would be relevant to people, and that people could actually resonate with my story. And so I take it back to the day where I was so hesitant on starting myself on social media, and I started it not even being confident about my own story, but then I realized that it is much bigger than me. It is much bigger than my insecurities and my fears. I need to show up because somebody else needs me to. And that's without even knowing at the time. So that's why I started posting on social media and sharing about my story and the fact that I went through a lot of bullying and body dysmorphia, and yes, there was a time in my life where I was not comfortable with my appearance. So I started sharing about that, and what I realized is, wow, while I'm sharing my story and I'm trembling while doing so, other people are actually resonating with what I'm saying, and they are, focusing on one word in my sentence and saying that that word really got to them. So that's what gave me the fuel to be, you know what, I'm going to keep showing up, I'm going to keep sharing until I believe in myself. And so I will be 100% transparent here. I still deal with imposter syndrome at times. And the second thing that I wanted to share is, like, professionally wise, like I have my personal branding agency, and at first I didn't even have confidence in what I was selling because I was so focused on selling the features and the services that I completely forgot that no, I'm actually promoting my value and all my experience and my knowledge, and that's more powerful than just stating services. That doesn't mean anything to people. So I think the biggest takeaway is to really focus on the value that you bring to the table and to understand that your voice is your blueprint. So nobody has that. Everyone can have your services, but at the end of the day, no one can be you. And that's your superpower.
Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. So you guys have two intakes. One is to just do it, and that kind of gives you courage. And the other one is to do it for somebody else. So almost like a servant leadership. I'm doing this so that other people can benefit. Other people, maybe my story will resonate with somebody else, and that will help them in their journey. So thank you for that. Does anyone have a quick question on any of these 2 points right now before we pivot to the next question? No, we can move on swiftly. All right, so I know we talked about this syndrome, and the title there has women, but we talked about this being a problem faced by other people as well, not mainly women. But women have specifically a challenge in this world. Sometimes when we voice our concerns, we're told we're too loud, right? When we want to stand out, we're told, okay, sit down, tone it down. You know, what are you doing? When we're comfortably sitting, we're told, okay, stand up. Take the spotlight. What are you doing? Aren't you ambitious? Where's your ambition? Try to be ambitious, but not too ambitious. When we show emotions, either laughing too hard or crying, we're too emotional. And when we don't, we're cold. So all these conflicts are not helping. But it leads to my next question. What do you think is causing this phenomenon? And we're talking about men and women here, but why is this happening? Or why are people having imposter syndrome? And for this one, I'll kick it up to Brenda.
Personally, I faced imposter syndrome almost all my life. I think till I turned 40, and even till recently, I'm 47 now, I think I've constantly had that at every stage of life. And let me list out a couple of reasons. I think one is the environment that we come from, extremely critical environments, and it doesn't have to be just your home, right? It can be your school. And at least when we studied, our education system did not talk about celebrating uniqueness, right? It was all about competing with each other. I come from India, where today there are 1.5 billion people. There are so many people there. There is no space. There is no space to celebrate individuality. It's always competition. It's always comparison, right? So when there is so much of critical or criticality around you, you start doubting yourself. And that is one of the reasons I think leads to imposter syndrome. And I think things are changing now, right? So things are changing. So you're constantly, believing that you're not good enough. You set yourself up for very high standards. There is no permission to fail. Nobody says it's okay to fail. Nobody says that there are lessons to be learned from failure, right? If you're not first, second, third, then you're not good enough. And then you grow up thinking, because there are so many people around you, you just keep telling yourself, I'm not good enough. And even when there are opportunities, you don't even take it up. So I think, that's probably one or two reasons why people have, not just women.
Does anyone want to add to that? Gita, please.
Yeah. Hey everyone, this time I'm going to say it right. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. So basically, I think for me, recently I had a leadership program from a training institute called Ayurveda, and that is where I realized that there is a root cause for the imposter syndrome. Like when we were kids, we were bullied or we had some bad experiences, some are molested, and there's a scar which lives with us. And that does not allow us to move forward and think positively about ourselves. I think that is the root cause of, imposter syndrome. At least 70% of people are like that. And the second part is, I think a lot about what the front person is thinking about you, right? If the front person is giving a comment like, oh, you're too short, what should I do? Yeah. Oh, you're not dressed well enough. What should I do? So we care a lot about what the front person thinks about ourselves, of you. And that is one of the reasons for imposter syndrome.
None?
So I would like to share from the perspective of entrepreneur who started something from scratch. The moment that you decided to leave your full-time job or the job that very secure, pay you every month at a high pay, and then you start your own business with these random ideas that nobody really understands you yet. So you own all the responsibilities. You responsible for your team, you're responsible for your dream, you're responsible for your plan, and also you need to prove to your own family that's the path that you chose is right. So that comes to the moment that I always say this, that entrepreneur journey is a very lonely journey. It's very difficult to really find someone that could connect with you and share the common values. So then it's caused that you will become the very high achiever. You expect always the perfect result because you carry all the hope and the expectation of people around you. So that make you not really appreciate the small steps. And that happened to me a lot in the early years because at that time, 2014, we don't have ChatGPT to really share the idea with, and I started something very new to the society. So I would say the missing piece is someone who could confirm you as well that you are on the right track. This is the way, and this, even though you do research, you talk to people, you have the client, the customer, you still feel like, am I on the right track? And what would be my next move? Whether the next decision gonna be the right one or not? And while you are in that situation, you still need to convince your team to believe on your vision and your mission, so that everybody can move forward. So I think that is very cause the phenomenon, because after you make a decision, you can't wait to see the result. Yeah, whether it's accurate or it's go according to plan or not. So yeah, that is my perspective.
Thank you. So we heard 3 different reasons, and I'm sure there's so many reasons out there, but we've heard sometimes the society imposes this on you because there's no room for failure, sometimes past experiences, kind of through protecting yourself, right? So, and then also maybe the situation you're in or your journey you're in. My take on it is, we were talking about the source of imposter syndrome and who coined this and who came up with this phenomenon. But maybe we need to look at it as our internal warning system telling us you are about to engage into something new. Okay? You are about to embark on a new journey. You're about to get out of your comfort zone. Hey, are you ready to do this? Right? And maybe that's a good thing, to just wake us up and say, okay, we're about to do something different. So we take it, we acknowledge it, we thank it. Thank you, myself, for warning me that I'm about to take a big leap, and then park it, acknowledge it, park it, and then move on. So that's another way to actually deal with this syndrome. Ignoring it maybe won't help so much, but acknowledging it and parking it and then moving on maybe a way to actually organize. I'm going to pause here before I ask another question. I did want this to be interactive, so could you please, anyone has a question, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll get up and do a bit of a dance for you.
Or does anyone want to share a story, their own story of imposter syndrome?
Could add a little something?
Yeah.
Yeah. If ever no one wants to go, or do you want to?
Yeah. We're all about sharing here.
Sharing is caring.
Hello everyone, thank you. First I want to say it's great to have this type of conversation because I really think they're very much needed. So I can share something and then I have a question. So my personal experience, I'm an executive and leadership coach. I work with individuals one-on-one and large organizations. And my background was in corporate, I was the operation director of some of the largest design and engineering firms globally. In my role, often I was the youngest ops director across thousands of employees, and many times the only female at the table on large projects in Saudi and across different geographies where I work. It was not an easy place to be at all, and many times I walk around. I remember walking the construction site in Singapore with Chinese contractor or a meeting in Saudi and asking myself, am I good enough? And so it did require a lot of work on myself. I was fortunate that I partnered with coaches myself for during my career, my corporate life, which made a huge difference, the best investment I've ever made on myself by far. And that's why now I'm so passionate also supporting others, male and female leaders, because it's something that obviously is across gender. So my question to one of you is, if you were to meet today your younger self, I would say, I don't know, you're 20 years old, in the hindsight, in light of what you've experienced so far, if you were to give a message of like 3 words, what would the message be?
Thanks for this amazing question. Because this is a question that I've asked myself. And I wish there was a way I could go back to my 20-year-old self. I would say, believe in yourself. Believe in myself.
I would say to tell myself that I'm bloody good enough.
I'm going to say, going back to my 20-year-old self, I still do. Going back to my 7-year-old self, going to my future self. We have so many, we can walk across time, and it's really important to keep doing that. It's a very lovely question, and I'd say it's an exercise that we should carry on doing.
I would say that you don't need to hide to feel accepted and seen, that you deserve the spotlight.
Say, you are crazy. and good for you that you have met people that just as crazy as you. So congratulations.
I love that. I would say I'm 20 years old right now, so I'm going to talk to myself. No, I would say, especially for women in corporate, when you're given a job, you're like, oh, can I do this job? I'd say one thing. If somebody is giving you a job or giving you a platform, they giving you that job or that platform because they think you can do it. No company will risk putting you in a position if they don't think that you can do that. So they're trusting in you already. Claim it, take it, honor it, and succeed. If somebody is giving it to you, take it. So that would be right.
And I'm always saying that if you make people talk, it's because you're doing the right thing. You're shining too bright. And I could relate to you because I was working a corporate job, and I had a lot of learning, and I still every single day didn't feel like I was doing my best, even if I was giving my best. So I think at the end of the day, it's about how you are your own boss within that. And you're able to do like, hey, you did a good job today. And you're not waiting on others to let you know about that. So,
I love that. All right, so
I would think,
yeah,
what will you say to your 20-year-old?
yeah.
It's one of the things that influenced me the most is realizing that the only way to grow is through discomfort. The only way for us, we live in our comfort zones, the only way to grow is when we lean in the fear, and then from the fear we do the step into the discomfort, and that's how we grow. We can jump from comfort to growth. Unfortunately, that's never happened. If you think about every time you grow in your life, you never had a jump. So I would say to myself, you feel uncomfortable, right? Good, you're growing. That's it.
I love that.
Very important.
All right, so we're gonna pivot to one more question. We're gonna take this to performance right now. And the panel, whoever wants to go first. How does the imposter syndrome affect performance, leadership, and opportunities out there?
Can I go first? I think decision making, I think it's very difficult to take decisions, especially if you think you don't belong there, and you're constantly looking for external validation, right? So it's very difficult to take decisions, own decisions, and I also think when you have imposter syndrome, you let opportunities just pass by, right? Because you think you're not good enough and somebody else is, you don't even apply for it. I have, like I told you, I suffered from it. And I kept getting promoted every 2 years in a very large IT company. And I actually shared this with my friend. I said, I don't know why I'm getting promoted. And he told me, they are not stupid to promote you. No, that's exactly what you told me. So, but, when I look back, there were so many more opportunities that I could have taken, and I should have done so much more. That's how it affects.
Okay. So I'll give you a personal experience of mine. So there was a position of a CTO open in my company, and they said, okay, before people whom you know who can fit for that position. And I'm like, okay, let me check what is the JD. And they were like, 10 things you should know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I took myself against 5, and I said, oh, I don't have the rest 5, so I should not apply. So the concept where you say, fake it till you make it, yeah, that I think I didn't have it and I lost that opportunity. So I think that's how you lose them. Yeah.
I guess one of the questions you can ask yourself, if not me, they already gave me the platform, I already have this, if not me, who? And if not now, when? So.
Could you repeat the question?
It's to do with performance. How does it impact performance?
I listen, being a coach myself, I also am a therapist, I've also hired lots of coaches. And I find stories usually inspire me. My youngest son is an actor, he's a BAFTA winner, so I'm actually meeting lots of Hollywood A-listers, very successful people. And just for you to kind of have some hope, the actual, the more successful you are, and I'm talking to, they're all sharing their stories of imposter syndrome. Even though they might be making it, with a lot of money, a lot of high achievers and high performers I work with still have imposter syndrome. It's part of the human condition. So I hope this kind of gives you, sometimes it doesn't come from trauma. I've actually worked with people who had very idyllic, loving childhoods who suffer from imposter syndrome. So if that gives you some hope, I really hope it does. And one thing I'd say is, like, listen to the stories of actors. Listen to the stories of musicians.
Thank you, Tanya. I'm gonna do one closing question, right? And then I really wanna pass it to the audience. The key takeaway, all right? We can start. Omar, the key takeaway, if you want the audience to walk away from this panel with one thing, what would that be?
One thing which I did and worked for me was the moment I started realizing my strengths and feeling worthy about all of those strengths in myself, I looked around me. Who were the people who were pushing me up, and who were the people who were pulling me down? And I weeded them out. I moved away from everyone who pulled me down. I ensured I'm surrounded by people who support me. And that has worked wonders. And these are not people who will tell you fake things that, oh, you're great. They will tell you the real things, but they're not there to damage you, right? They're not going to pull you down. They will give you feedback to help you improve. So keep those, find those gems and keep them with you.
So I would say value yourself and also value your time. So just define what is exactly your core values, and then value your time enough to not spend time in the place that you need to explain yourself a lot, because that is a sign that you might not be in the right place, and that might be draining your energy. So just value yourself and value your time. Yes. Thank you.
I'm just taking that. I want to acknowledge there is one person in this room who's been a very big cheerleader for me, my childhood friend and my partner, Shruti. Right? So, a massive cheerleader. You know, so much of positivity that comes from her. Thank you, Shruti.
I love you, Shruti. Okay, I think the one thing which helped me is something called as mirror work. So every morning when I get up, I go in front of a mirror, and I think, like, if someone is saying, oh, you're never going to get a trendsetter watch award from here, and I say to myself, looking at the mirror, and say, I'm bold, I'm confident. You think I cannot get a trendsetter watch award? I'm bloody good enough, and that's how I start my day.
Well done. I like the environment part, that it's so important to cultivate a good environment, and the affirmations, because this is also what helps me. And I think really the environment matters so much. Like, we really need to imagine our everyday like a garden, and we are in control of the plantation, you know, and how we cultivate it. And for example, in this last year, it has been so transformative for me, because I think it's the very first time that I invested in myself. So I got the honor to have two coaches alongside me. One in public speaking, his name is Josh McCartney, and he just really helped me recognize the power in my own story. So I think when you have the chance to practice and to be yourself in a safe environment, that only pushes you further. So again, with the environment and its importance. And the same thing for my other coach, Naha. She helps me in my personal, my professional life. And I always say, if you can have a mentor next to you, it's someone that sees your potential already and is just holding your hand and giving you the space to reach it yourself. And so yeah, I think to take the time to acknowledge how far you've come every single day, and especially as an entrepreneur, even someone working in a corporate job, like, you need to, yes, okay, always keep raising the bar, but also acknowledge every step that it took you to raise the bar, because a lot of the time we look at the entire stairs and we don't look at how many steps we've made, you know, but that is also important. So yeah, to really thank yourself and to surround yourself with people that want your well-being and your growth.
Thank you.
Tanya, do you want to add?
Yeah, so there's this theme that comes up when it comes to imposter syndrome that comes from the collective unconsciousness. This voice you're not good enough. Just change it. I am more than enough.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I want to end it with one thing. We talked about imposter syndrome here, but we've seen things changing a lot. We see women, men, minorities in politics, in health, in education, in military, in sports, in different industries, and it's happening, right? It's changing. So I want to say to everyone out there, when you see men or women rising, you either join the movement, right? You either give them support to succeed, or you move out of the way, right? So you have to do one of the three things. Either join the movement, join their success, support them, or let them be. Move out of the way because it's coming. The wave is coming and people will end up where they're meant to be. And with that, I will close. I've got 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes here. We're doing well. 1.5 minutes. I would really want to pass it back to you guys for any questions that you might have. This is your panel.
I'm going to pick someone.
Hello, come here. We share mics. We share everything.
I don't have a question, but I do want to thank you for your insights. As someone who, I don't think you really get over imposter syndrome. It shows up and it manifests in different ways. But I will say, for me, when I became a school leader, I was considered fairly young, and I had teachers who were older than me. And so a lot of that came from not necessarily knowing that I wasn't enough. I knew that. I knew coming from my family, I knew that had been entrenched in me. But walking into a situation where I was needing to lead other people and they weren't willing to be led, I think what was happening is, one, I had somewhat of fear. And what I learned was fear is false expectations appearing real, right? So I first had to understand that I need to believe in myself. And then also, the pivotal point came when I showed my vulnerability. Because oftentimes we feel as though when we show up as leaders, that we have to put on a facade. And sometimes our staff, they just want to know that we're human, that we can make a connection. So I really had to focus on making those connections, building relationships. And then finally, I also knew that as a leader, I had to create an environment that it would not perpetuate the imposter syndrome. So by pouring into my staff members, tapping into their gifts, or even sometimes they did not recognize them. So I think one of the things that I learned as a leader was, one, not to perpetuate it by creating an environment where it was safe. Being vulnerable, like we talked about with social media, I'm sure that brought out some vulnerability for you. Because we think when we're in business, we just have to be one way. But I'm more than just a leader. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a breast cancer survivor. So when I started really connecting with individuals in my organization, that was a pivotal point for me. And so if I were to tell my younger self anything, it would be to just be cool with who you are and to show who you are, and so that people get to know you outside of just showing up as Principal Hood-Kirk. I'm more than that. I'm a mom, which means there's teachers who are mothers, and so which means they also can relate because we share those stories. And once I did that, that was a turning point for me. So I want to say thank you, though, because we don't talk about this a lot as women, whether it's corporate or education. And what I'm learning and connecting with other women is that we may have different languages, we have different backgrounds, but we share similar stories. And so I want to thank you guys for bringing this to the forefront and really for this conference of seeing the importance of breaking down that barrier so that we can really show up as our authentic selves.
I love that.
Stay here.
Be cool and be authentic. I love it.
I just want to say, first, what's your good name?
My name is Jamila.
Jamila. You know what it means in Arabic?
Yes, beautiful.
Okay, good. Yes, so I was going to say you're beautiful, first of all, and thank you for your, sharing these thoughts with us. It really means a lot, and you've come a long way, and I hope you're proud of yourself. And about the young factor, I could instantly relate to you because I'm 25 years old, and I started my little entrepreneur journey with my corporate job also on the side at like 19 while I was still at university. And all my life, I'm always second guessing myself and always thinking, okay, do I deserve to be in that environment because you're working with older people that have more experience. And even before, like I used to always say, oh, I'm young,
Right.
I would always put everyone on a pedestal. And so I think, yes, just like you said, it's like eliminating those barriers that we put in our heads. And I love the fact that you said that you are more than just the heads, You are a mom, you have so much more to offer. And I think that's the beauty of being a leader. So really big congratulations to you, and also about the breast cancer that you've mentioned. I think we can all give a big round of applause to you.
All right, so we are 3 minutes over, but I think this was a valuable conversation. And thank you, all of you, for bringing your questions in, for whoever wanted to share stories. You shared your stories. We're going to be hanging around. We're going to be outside, so come talk to us later. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.